Welcome. You've tuned in to Living the Miracle with hosts Michael and Raphaelle Tamura. You were meant to live a joy-filled life, and you most certainly can. In this program, you will learn simple yet powerful psychic tools to help you fulfill your soul's purpose in this world. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Tamura and Raphaelle Tamura.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Living the Miracle with Michael and Raphaelle Tamura, where our goal is awakening souls, intuition, and fulfilling purpose. This is our 7th episode of our new show. We're so excited about being here. Today, we are going to be talking about what's going on with you and what's your next step to healing yourself. I am Raphaelle.
And I'm Michael.
And today we want to find out what's going on with you. In fact, a little later on in the show, if you care to find out what's going on with you in your life from our clairvoyant or psychic perspective, call us toll-free. Get your pencil so that you have the number handy in case you decide you want to call. It's 1-888-346-9141. 1-888-346-9141. And we will be taking calls starting the second segment of this show. But what we will be doing is giving you a quick on-air spot reading from both of us. We'll have fun with that, I'm sure. But first, many of us tend to jump to conclusions when we're not entirely happy or when things aren't going the way we wanted or expected them to go in life. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. For example, we might decide that something's wrong with us just because we don't particularly feel great, or we might judge that things didn't happen the way we wanted them to because we are doing something wrong in our lives. Yes, those hasty conclusions we jump to are judgments that are not always entirely true. Even in a case when, let's say, we eventually discover we have some kind of physical illness or condition, were we correct in deciding something was wrong with us? Not at all. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with us, with who we are. This is something we talk about over and over again in this show, and hoping you can hear it. We just happen to have some kind of bodily illness or condition at the time. So the judgment that something is wrong with us isn't true. In fact, when we decide that something is wrong with us, aren't we merely saying that what we're experiencing isn't what we wanted or expected to experience? It's only wrong because we didn't want it. And once we jump to the judgment that something is wrong, we generally don't go any further to discover what is actually bringing about what we are not happy with in ourselves and in our lives.
Bah, humbug. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my life? You know, I see people walking around, and in their own minds, they're looking at that image of something's wrong. Something's inherently wrong with me because otherwise I should be happier. Or people walking around and they might not be unhappy, but they're not as happy as they would like to be. And they're trying to figure out what's wrong. What do they need to fix? You know, what do I have to do? Or I see a lot of people also walking around wishing for something else. Wishing for a better life, wishing for something different, wishing something in their life would be different. And when they're walking around like that, living life like that, is it going to change? No, they're just going around on the, what do you call those, conveyor belt or treadmill, you know, the wheel, and going around, they're stuck, wishing for something they don't have, or complaining about something they don't like, or something's wrong. It's all based on judgment. But what would happen if, instead of that, we were to give ourselves a little pause, ground ourselves, decide to be aware and neutral in our own space, and look within us to see what's actually going on with us. What would happen if, rather than jumping to the conclusion that things aren't working in our lives or that something's wrong, if we give ourselves time to reflect how we're bringing about those conditions and experiences in our life that we're not that happy about or we're terribly upset about, rather than being unhappy about all of that as if we're a victim to our experiences. What would happen if we ask ourselves the question, how am I bringing about this experience I'm having? Well, when I was 20 years old and just starting to study with my teacher, Louis Bostwick, he turned to me one day and out of the blue, which he did a lot of this, said, "You know, Tamura, you have a choice in how you wish to die." I'm 20 years old, right? That stopped me in my tracks because I've always felt, intuitively, I felt like I knew I had a choice in how I wished to live my life, but no one until then had ever said anything about having a choice in how we wish to die. And my teacher continued, "We can choose to die in pain and suffering, as many people do, or we can choose to die in love and at peace with ourselves." Well, it didn't take me but a moment after I heard that to make my decision. It was a no-brainer as far as I was concerned. I wished to die in love and at peace with myself. But it wasn't until some 40-odd years later that I realized that that was the moment when I made that decision. I thought I was just, going, oh, that's a no-brainer. That's what I prefer, right? But when I look back and connect all the dots, it was at that moment that I embarked upon the path I've been on ever since. In retrospect, every step I took in life after that, and all that I experienced, and all that I learned from those experiences were in answer to that decision I made at that very moment. And I'm still on that path today. So that was years and years ago that I started to ask myself the question regularly, how have I brought about the experience I'm having now? Why do I ask that question so often? Well, because I know it's not my choice to die in pain and suffering. So whenever I notice I'm not joyfully happy, I know somehow I'm in some kind of pain and suffering. I don't have to feel like I'm in excruciating pain or I feel miserable. No, why wait until I'm in that condition? I've been there, done that so many times. I'm much more proactive now.
This is what makes you such a great teacher, because you've been teaching a lot of people about this.
Yes, for a long time. And I practice it all the time, every day. So whenever I'm not entirely happy, so-so, but not happy, I ask myself that question, okay? How am I bringing about this condition? And right out the top, it's always very fast, easy answers. That's almost like standard answers. The answers that pop up like a reaction are, oh, I'm not happy or entirely happy about such and such because. And there's always, it's because the internet is being extra slow.
The traffic is being thick as mud.
Yeah. Well, with the internet part around where we are, that's not, extra. You can imagine how extra slow is because our normal is like dial-up speed, right? And so, but the traffic here hey, we call six cars on the street a traffic jam. So, it's all relative, isn't it? And it could be where we're having a much more challenging time, like being accused of doing something terrible that we absolutely didn't do. We're wrongly accused about something, or it's something terrible happened in the world. And most people would say, oh yeah, of course I'm unhappy. Look at the news. Look at what's going on. Look at what happened and all that stuff. Well, that's generally our first line of defense and first line of judgment pictures that come up when we ask ourselves, how did I bring about this experience I'm having? But you got to realize it's just the first layer. And don't jump to conclusions based on those judgments that come up in your mind. When you ask the right question, when you ask a powerful question, the answer starts to give to you. Life starts to give you the answers from within yourself. And you start to get it intuitively. And you might confuse them for, oh, I'm just having thoughts. No. These are just the answers peeling off the wrong answers. And when you can become neutral and grounded and just let those answers go by instead of jumping on the bandwagon, then you start to calm down and you start to get closer and closer to yourself, to who you are as spirit. And remember, we covered this in a couple of episodes, the dog obedience school training, drop it, right? So one of the first things we got to do is when these first line of defense judgments come up in our minds, when we start to question, how come I'm not as happy as I could be?
When we're little, we learn or trained to judge, right? Because judgment is all about survival. Judgment is about survival, and how do we survive in life? If we can't judge, that's what we're trained, aren't we? Most everybody is trained to judge all the time. This is right, this is wrong, you're better than I am, I'm better than you are, things like that. How come you're prettier, I'm smarter, blah, 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 blah. And yet judgment is not true. None of those things we judge are true. And how you can tell about truth is that when truth is in spirit, it's eternal, it's forever. So judgment is very temporary, isn't it? It changes by the minute, by the second. And yet, when you are in truth, it's forever. It doesn't change. So the judgment is always going to lead you down the wrong path. Anytime you're hung up on judgment, you're going to be going down the wrong path. And then, how do you get onto the right path? Well, discernment. When you practice discernment, then it turns you toward the truth. Judgment always turns you toward the lie or the illusion. What seems to be truth, but when you really look at it, it's not. And then, if you turn toward discernment, you're discerning what is true from what are just appearances, what's not true.
I believe we're coming up upon a break, so we shall be right back and we will continue this discussion.
Hey there. Thanks for listening to the show. If you're ready to take the next step on your spiritual path, develop your intuition, heal your spirit, and fulfill your life's purpose, please visit livethemiracle.com, our learning sanctuary for the soul. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're talking about what's going on with you and what's your next step to healing yourself. And Michael was just talking about judgment and discernment.
Yes, that's what it boils down to, is whether you're in judgment or you're practicing discernment and in your life. And one way, it takes you right down the wrong path, so to speak, where you're going to be stuck and being on that treadmill of life and no changes for the better. But every time you practice discernment, it leads you to freedom, because as the expression goes, truth shall set you free. And discernment is about discovering the truth, even if in the beginning you might not get to the ultimate truth, but you'll get to the truth that what you were judging was not true. And that's a really big step when you're starting to wake up. But I notice we have Doreen in Delaware on the phone. And so why don't we talk to Doreen and see what's going on with her?
Hello.
Hi, Doreen.
Hi, Doreen.
Hi, Raphaelle. Hi, Michael.
Hey.
Nice of you to call from Delaware.
Call.
Yes. So do you have a specific kind of a thing going on in your life that you want us to look at, or would you like us to just look at you and see what we see that's going on with you?
Yes, I would love that more.
Okay.
Just tell me. I am so open and so excited.
Yes, I can tell. Well, first thing, just so people can understand a little more about how we look at things, your crown chakra, the energy center at the top of your head, is all green. And that means you're going through a big, big change in your life. And this has been going on for, a few weeks now. But you're kind of over the hump. It's starting to simmer off a little bit more. But the change that you've been going through, the growth that you've been going through, may have had you in a place of things are up in the air and you can't really put your finger on it quite yet, or make a real big decision yet, because you've already made big decisions, and that's what prompted you into this time of transition. And what's transitioning and what's changing in you is your intuitive knowingness. You're starting to trust what you know from within yourself a lot more, because when you were a child, you did this all the time. You're a very, very psychic child. And I don't know if you remember, you might have seen fairies and angels and other spirit around you. And you might have even had imaginary friends, or what other people might have called imaginary friends, because you communicated with them a lot. Well, you're starting to get that back again where you are, because of your interest in being awake more and using your energy and your abilities to come around into a much more of your spiritual path. And that's one of you being the healer that you are. That's one of the qualities. It's not healer as a professional that you have to be. It's that you care about people and you want everyone to be happy. And you have a lot to offer people in terms of expressing the joyousness in their life and being able to be more creative and express themselves more creatively.
Yes, and one of the things I'm looking at, Doreen, is that recently you've come out of, I'm going to call it a cocoon of protection.
Oh, wow, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and that's been very freeing for you and a little scary at the same time, because you're a little bit more on your own with being able to step forward into your new growth.
Yeah. How's that for you, Doreen?
Wow. I mean, that's wonderful. The cocoon, that is so perfect. And that's the word I thought about actually a couple days ago when 2013, everything started drastically change. And it's almost like 2013, 14, and 15, and 16, it's almost like I was in a cocoon. I didn't want to be around people, didn't want to go anywhere. I was like reclusive, and I started coming out of it.
Yes. This is your coming out party.
That's what I feel like. Yes.
Yes. So very good, Doreen. You're on the right track, and you're going to start to have a lot more of your energy to express yourself creatively. You're very creative. So you're going to create all kinds of stuff that you're now interested in instead of creating for everybody else and not knowing what was right for you. All right?
Very good.
Thank you very much for calling.
Wow. Thank you so much, both of you. I enjoy your program. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Great.
welcome. And watch out, Ohio.
Yeah. And now
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll go on to, I think it's Elise in Montreal, Canada.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Oh, sure.
great. Oh, so happy to speak to you guys. So I have had epilepsy since childhood,
Yes.
and I know that it's part of my soul path and an opportunity for greater spiritual development. I've been receiving energy work for the last 3 years, and since October, I've been having more grand mal seizures closer together.
Yes.
Where I hurt myself, I bang my head, and I'm sort of in a place of concern of further injuring myself.
Yes.
And would like some insight around this.
How old were you when it started?
I was breaching forceps. I had convulsions at age 1, but then nothing until age 9.
Yes. Okay. Well, you're very correct in terms of this is part of your soul path. It's not that you have to have grand mal seizures on your soul path. That's kind of the opposite of a side benefit. It's your mediumship ability, and you're also very, very, very sensitive on a spiritual, psychic level, and you always have been. What happened was when you came in, you're so bright as a soul, and you have so much to share with other people. You have a lot to communicate. And do you like to write?
Like write poems or write stories?
Anything, yeah, anything. Write a journal.
I'm not a great writer, but if I think about it now, when I was a little girl at age 9, I wrote a poem and it was in the newspaper.
Yes. Well, you need to write. You need to speak. Any form of expression, but especially speaking, writing, words. You have a lot of it inside of you in many ways. And notice what you just said. To preface yourself, you're not a very good writer. Don't do that.
Well, it's just never been my forte, I guess.
Yeah, no.
University
that's not the kind of writing that you're here to do. You're going to write from your heart. You're going to write stuff that's spiritual to you, inner stuff. And so you have to come up with your own way of speaking and writing and so forth and so on. And what the grand mal seizures, and the epileptic levels is when you were very, very young, because you were so bright, you had some, interference, energetic interference. People, there are beings that didn't want that much light to come in to this world, and they wanted to stop or limit you. And so of course, you're coming into a place where people didn't know how to deal with that, how to help you manage that type of input at such a young age when you're just trying to get a hold of your body. And so this is where the injury can happen. There's a damage in the crown chakra. Do you know what the crown chakra is?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So that's the crown chakra at the top of your head. And between the crown chakra and your brain, there's this very, very intricate network of channels, very like thinner than fiber optic type channels energetically. And some of that got disrupted. And when that gets disrupted, it often manifests as seizures and that type of thing, where the energy, you're bringing in too much energy and the body isn't wired correctly. They short-circuit it a little bit so that it starts to shake. It isn't able to handle it. So do you listen to the show? Is this your first time or regular?
I listened last week for the first time, and I'm actually a friend of Michael Margolis, so I've
Oh, fantastic. Learn
a little bit about you.
Yes, learn how to ground and run your energy. If you go to our website at the free stuff, there's a download, a 2-hour class download on spiritual toolkits, and they'll take you walk you step by step on the basic tools, and that will start to help you. And maybe you can talk to Michael about having him communicate with us more and see how he might be able to help you with
that part of
this.
it. My brain, is that able to heal?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's very, very. It's just energetic, and
Right.
it may
So
take a little while
is it
because
able to? I guess I can, by grounding or working
That's the start.
energetically, sort of get it flowing.
yes, absolutely. And there's quite a few other things involved that we don't have the time to go through all of that on the radio show, but
Also, I do sessions of healing and
Yeah,
reading.
Michael told me about that, so I'm definitely. I actually thought I was calling the office today to speak on, so I have the number.
great.
Yes, so just for the audience, we, of course, can't guarantee any kind of healing when it's energetic healing. It's really up to the person who receives the healing to take it to its next step with her or his own energy work.
Yeah.
So, but I'd be very happy to work with you if you want to.
Great, Raphaelle.
All right. Great. Thank you for calling, Elise.
Thanks so much.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, and we'll go to Lisa in Naples,
Florida.
Florida.
I love Naples. That's one of the UFO centers of, where they show themselves off. So let's see. Lisa, are you there?
Can you
Hey,
say hello?
Raphaelle.
Oh, hey, how about that?
Hey.
Okay, my volume's down. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Good.
So hey, Lisa.
Hey, Michael.
So,
Hi, Raphaelle. Nice to see you.
yes, would you like us to just tell you what we see, or do you have a specific that you'd like to ask about?
I'd like you to tell me what you see. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay, well, yeah, this must be the day for people calling in who are in what we call a growth period. And that's, again...
Holy cow, is that right?
And your growth period, well, the eruption, there's a kind of an emotional eruption going on. So you should have called from Vesuvius or Mount St. Helens or something. But it's the emotionality that's been submerged for a long time. To kind of be able to do what you do in life, in your work and everything, and in relationship, especially to people, you've learned early on in your life to keep it together, to be strong, to be courageous, strong, and in order to do that, in order to handle also other very strong people, you had to kind of keep your emotionality in check. And when you have an emotional uprising from within you, it's very hard because there's so much that comes up, not just about a specific thing that's going on in your life right now, but in terms of old stuff, emotions that you never got to attend to when you were a child or a teenager or younger time in your adult life. And then as that emotion that gets precipitated by a current situation, you have a reaction to something somebody says or something somebody does, and then so a little emotion comes up, but it doesn't stop there. That opens the door to all this tons of emotion that has been held back inside of you for years. And when the floodgates are open, it's almost overwhelming. It's like, oh God, how do I handle this? And so, of course, when it's intense and you got to get it together again to deal with whatever situation's going on, you try to put it back down so that you can kind of be in control and in charge and take the steps that you need to take. But it's too late. You can't do that anymore. You're at this new level. You're at a new, very much a higher level of consciousness than you've ever been. Well, maybe since you were very, very young, a little child, but you're starting to get back to that level of brightness, of intelligence, of creativity. And there's so much, on the one side, so much enthusiasm for what you would like to do in life. And then on the other side, there's fear, because how are you going to handle all this other emotional stuff that's not really nice, that's not really pleasant? And
I'd like to add to this.
Sure.
We have this friend of ours, Steve Bayerman. He is known as the Swami Beyondananda. And if you've never heard of him, look him up. He's just hysterical and wonderfully aware man. And one of his campaigns is all about the upwising. Upwising, W-I-S-E-I-N-G. And when I look at you, Lisa, I just see this upwising in your whole awareness happening. And part of that is being able to release the emotions and stay in that space of certainty that you've moved to.
And clarity, neutrality. And there's a part of you that's going, you're not the boss of me. I'm not going to take it anymore. Because you've had so many people kind of try to program you, to try to convince you their side is right. And you're just tearing your hair out and going, no, let me see for myself what's true. And I want to know what's true for myself. That's the growth period that you're in, is finding out for your own self, direct experience of what is true, instead of intellectually trying to figure it out, instead of listening to what everybody wants to pull and push and everything else, which way is correct and what you have to do and what you have to think and all that kind of stuff. And you're also starting to uncover from within yourself all the people that have done that towards you, that have psychically tried to manipulate you, and you're starting to discover how many times you've been the effect of that, and you're not that happy about that. But the great news is you're starting to free yourself. It's what I see for you coming up is just this incredible new space. Once you get through this massive growth period and you get onto the other side of it, you're going to find, wow, the life I've lived up to now is like a past life. I'm now reincarnated into a completely new life, and you're going to start to have kind of a new people coming into your lives, new opportunities coming into your lives. It's going to be a very fun, creative time. But be patient. Give yourself a little time to get through this big hump.
We have a second break coming up. Lisa, thank you very much for calling. And the rest of you who are holding, hang on. We'll be right back. And we will continue our exploration of what's happening with you right now and what your next step might be on your path. See you in a couple minutes. It's good to have you back, and welcome to those of you just joining us. We're exploring what's going on with you and what your next steps might be to healing yourself into living more of the miracle of your limitless and joyful soul life. And before we take the next caller, because we're doing call-ins today, and we've had some very good ones so far, I would like to mention a couple things. One is our website. It's a beautiful brand new website with a lot of events we have coming up. And you can find it at www.michaeltamura.com. As long as you can spell Tamura, T as in Tom, A, M as in Mary, URA.com, michaeltamura.com. And go to the events section. We have lots of things coming up, including a visit to Los Angeles, May 5th and 6th for a weekend seminar. You can come to one or both days. Also, April 27 to 29, we will have a booth, a Living the Miracle radio booth at the New Living Expo. Our booth is number 328, and Michael will be giving a talk on Friday night, and there's going to be some other wonderful things, including the PGS movie we've been talking about that Michael is in. There's going to be a showing of that movie along with the filmmaker, and Michael and other people who are in that movie will be doing the Q&A after the movie is
That's
over.
at the San Mateo Convention Center, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And our booth is 328?
Yes.
So come and visit us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we got all kinds of callers calling in. How about next is Kat in Escondido, California.
Hi there.
Hi, Kat.
Hello.
So, what can we do for you today? Do you want us to just take a look and see where you're at, what's going on, or would you like to ask us a question specific?
Today's session was perfect because, yes, I guess I'd like to know how the pain I'm having is related to maybe holding back or moving forward.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And your pain that you're having is it's nothing but a heartache. It's centered in your heart center, the fourth chakra, the center in the middle of your chest. And there's a lot of old energies. You're in the process of releasing. This is time for you to unload your old excess baggage so you can move forward. You're already made the commitment to move forward. I'd say at least a couple of years ago, you decided, okay, I need to take a big step. I need to move forward on my spiritual path, on my path of fulfilling my purpose in life. And as you did that, once you made that decision, it brings out, like I was talking about in the very beginning segment, once you ask a question, make a decision, it precipitates your growth. It precipitates the change. And the change that this precipitated in you is unloading a lot of the kinds of feelings that you kept close to your heart of being hurt and being angry about being hurt. And once you're able to let that go, you're going to bounce out of there, so to speak, and you're going to be able to have. This has been holding you back in terms of what we call havingness, your ability to have more of life, your ability to have more of the creativity you have. By the way, do you like music?
Yes.
Do you play or sing or anything?
No.
Okay. Did you want to?
I've always loved to be able to dance and sing, yes.
Yes. So you need to do more of that, dance and sing, even singing, or pick up an instrument, whatever, because there's a lot of music in you. And you need to be able to express it in some way. So when you were singing and dancing, you did that. You're expressing the music inside of you. And there's a particular vibration. And again, it's also good for you, for your healing, your self-healing, because when you play music, when you sing and dance, but it's the music that's important, then you start to let go more. You start to heal yourself of this heartache that you've carried for a bulk of your life. And the reason for that is part of this heartache you brought in with you from your last incarnation. And in your last incarnation, you died with that heartache and feeling really a lot hurt, very, very hurt, getting a lot of pain and feeling responsible for it. And so what you're starting to release from deep within your, what would you call that, psychic heart, not your physical heart, but your psychic heart, the center of you, is this old pain, regret, and responsibility and guilt that you did something wrong, and that's why it's almost at one time, not in this life so much, but in previous lifetime, you felt like you were being punished because of your wrongdoings. But it's not true at all. It's not that you did anything wrong. In fact, you too are a tremendous healer, and you bring joy to people's lives, and you bring well-being, but you've encountered a lot of people who got very, very upset, angry at you because you're such a strong healer, you brought out in them too much of their negativity, too much of their fear, too much of their pain, too fast. And they didn't know what was going on, so they blamed you, saying, gee, before I knew you, I was fine. But after I've been hanging out with you, I start to be, have pain. I start to feel lousy. I start to, go down the tubes, blah, blah, blah. And things aren't going well. And it's all because of you. And you took it seriously a long time ago and carried that to your grave in your last lifetime. You were born with that this lifetime, but it didn't get precipitated until you were a little bit older in maybe your teens or something like that. And you've been trying to get out from underneath that ever since. So this is something, all you need, I see, is just some psychic tools to help you learn to release this faster, recognize what's going on, rather than jump to the conclusion that, what can I do? How do I figure this out? Don't try to figure it out. It's about letting go, okay? And we're running out of time, so we better go on to the next person.
Well, just one quick addition here is that the music that you listen to has to be uplifting.
Yes.
No
downers.
No downers, no deep blues. And, maybe that's good for bringing those blues up. But if you do move on to a brighter and happier music, because that's part of what will help you release some of this, that really a lot of it is old and a lot of it isn't even yours. So thank you very much for calling, and we'll go on to the next person.
And all of you can email us with your comments and feedback and whatever at livingthemiracleradio@gmail.com.
Be sure you add the radio on there, or it will go to someone else.
Okay.
Living the Miracle Radio.
Do we have time for one more?
Yes.
Okay, let's go for one more. Who's next?
Ree in San Jose?
Ree in San Jose.
Yes, that's me. How you doing?
That's you. Hi, Ree. So
lucky to have gotten this call.
Yes. Yeah, you got it under the wire. Would you like us to just look at you and see what we see? Or okay.
Sounds
well,
good.
Ree, yes, you have a lot of power in you, Ree, and you have a lot of certainty. And you're here to share your wisdom with other people, especially young people, children, teenagers, and young adults. You have a lot to share with them, to guide them. And what's happening now with you is a little bit similar to what I was saying with Kat. You're starting to release more of the old pain that you have in your heart, and you're starting to release some of the emotional aspects of old stuff. And just know that what you're releasing is old stuff like sadness, regrets, and things of that nature that you held on hold. But you don't have to hold on anymore. You can just let it go. And even if it doesn't feel that good as it's coming out, don't worry about it. Just let it go and let yourself be more of who you are. You're coming into your prime, in being able to fulfill the purpose for which you have incarnated in this lifetime.
Very briefly, one of the things I see with you is you are surrounded by lots and lots and lots of books. I'm not sure if you're a librarian or a
Yes.
school teacher or something.
And
but
I teach. Yeah, I love books, and I teach art to kids. So
Yes.
Yeah, you're right on. So we're running out of time. Thank you, Renee, for calling, or Ree for calling. And
thank you.
Again, you can write us at the Living the Miracle Radio at gmail.com. And the time flies so fast when we're having fun with you. And we're getting to the end of the episode. Thank you for joining us on the airwaves today, wherever you are. And yes, people are listening to this show all over across the U.S., in Switzerland, China, Canada, South Africa, Ireland, the UK, India, France, Australia, Belgium. We have listeners also in Japan, Russia, Netherlands, Italy, Germany, Romania, Spain, Bulgaria, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Argentina, Belize, Indonesia, Austria, Puerto Rico, United Arab Emirates, Lao People's Republic, Hong Kong, and Finland. So,
our on-the-air community is growing and community essential to living the miracle. So wherever you are in the world, please tell your friends about the show. We hope to see all of you next Wednesday for our episode called When in Doubt, Laugh First and Be Kind. In it, we'll explore with you what you can do when you find yourself afraid and in doubt about something in your life.
And you'll learn all about the important psychic tools of cultivating neutrality, amusement, and compassion, and how to apply them to various challenging conditions in your life. So, once again, thank you very much. Live joyfully, and peace be with you always. This is Living the Miracle with Michael and Raphaelle Tamura.
Thank you for joining us.
In every drop of rain awaits a rainbow. For every chance it has to grow.